Full disclosure, 100% of the revenue of this video will be donated to Subject Talked About. We are here at the Red Dwarf with Jared, who is on the stream with us. Mr. Jones, and he is he's doing me a favor, even though he got barbecued on the stream, of taking me to the airport.
Last hand. Why they call the 1K?
Yeah, I mean,
Ace Deuce gets you to call on those Big O and Big O.
This is true. Have you ever eaten here before?
No, but I have some friends who've said some good things about it.
Okay, so this is highly recommended from Mr. Jones's friends. Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll give you guys a full review after this. I normally don't do this travel stuff because it feels a little bit like Andrew Nemi-ish. No offense, Andrew. You're from Michigan as well. I'm well aware. It's just I'm more just get into it. But this might go on a life of a grinder. So let's see what kind of fucking drink we got here. Wow, this is very girly, but I love it. I love girly drinks. Obviously, I've got a tie-dye hoodie, and you guys saw that outfit I was in. What did you think of that outfit? Suits.
Oh, suits are great.
Yeah, see? Liked them. Matter of fact, Jared's first time watching Dumb and Dumber was it a couple of months ago in Miami?
The full way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Did you watch the stream yet?
Yeah, I've watched it.
I watched the stream too. So how did you feel you played overall after watching the stream?
Okay.
And actually, Suited Superman came by to play, and he was a little splashy. How did you feel playing with him?
He was good. His friend was good too.
Yeah, so he's no slouch. I will tell you that.
I wasn't prepared to play with them for a long time. I was a bit tired. And
it is exhausting. Well, we're going to have some pizza. We're going to have some drinks. If you're in Vegas, I guess you can check out the Red Dwarf. We'll give you a full, honest review afterwards. What did you think of the pizza?
Pizza was fantastic.
It's fucking great. Detroit-style pizza, really good. Apparently they have lots of good reviews, blah, blah, blah. And the service here is great. The atmosphere is great. I fucking love it. So we're definitely going to be back here either in a month or during the series. But yeah, I'm digging it. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen. My flight's in 2 hours, so we're going to go do something Vegas style. Play smart, everybody, and
Run like a gun.
There we go. I literally took the red eye coming back here on Sunday. I didn't get back until almost 24 hours of traveling. That's how long it took me to get back home because we had ice storms. One of the things that I probably like most about this stream, and by the way, if you guys haven't watched the stream yet, it was a 1010 2040 80 160 PLO mix. Most of the time it was like a 1010 2040 80. The action was great. One of the things that I liked most about it is I'm able to go back and watch how I react and how I look to different players. So that way I can pick up if I have any of my own tells. I know that seems really weird, but I guess like if you're a GTO guy, you're going to study like GTO charts. If you're like a person who relies on their reads more than anything, and I did make one bad read on that. One hand where Jared raised it to 1600 on the river just didn't make sense, and I should have just called. Next time something doesn't make sense, I'm just going to call.
Ways to wear
you might as well wear it every time.
Yeah.
150.
That's the shuffler. I was like, oh wow.
No, it's like air.
So we'll probably see a high VPIP from the small blind. You'd probably want to get in there almost every time. Pot odds for you are a little bit different being in the small blind than, the odds for everyone else.
Speaking of that, the small blind here is in trouble with top and bottom versus top two. Not really a spot where you want to start raising. So we'll see Costa just with the call.
Superman's out of the way, heads up here. King of diamonds on the turn, 2 flush draws on board.
Six.
600.
Interesting lead there. I mean, you got 2 pair. It's kind of, you don't, I mean, it's not really a brick. It's an overcard. Connects with your opponent's range, but the flush has missed.
See if Costa wants to lead again. To me, that turn, that was like, I want to kind of set my price, not have to pay a bigger price.
Thailand.
Did you?
I'm going
But
on
here,
spot
this
is.
kind of feels like.
How long? Probably more than that.
So we're not going.
I don't know if it is
Thailand
value, but I
entire
feel like he's
time.
trying to make it look like
Flying
value.
into Bangkok and out of Bangkok. But
Yeah, I don't
believe we're
really
gonna
think
be
you're expecting someone to
probably
fold
there
ace
in
nine
Bangkok
here
for,
or any other better aces up.
There's a couple other spots.
So I think it's
23 and a
value as
quarter.
My
well,
wife wants to go to
but it's probably very
Bali,
confusing for the PLO
couple other
professor here.
spots.
Because
I
you
don't
would just
remember
think
the full
this
itinerary.
this should be ace
kinda-
king a lot.
She kind of takes
Yeah,
care of
ace
it,
king
but
a lot. Maybe he gets there with ace 10, but
yeah, I've never,
why would you be
never been.
leading on
I'm
the
glad you're
turn
staying
with
at
the
least
ace
a week,
10?
because it's a long flight to be.
Maybe he got there
moving
with some
constantly.
queen jack of clubs type of hand, but
Ace
PLO
four.
professor does call.
Ace 9. Ooh. Nothing.
Great call. I mean,
Value or bluff? Good catch.
I was like, I wasn't in
See, the
love
players
with
asked
it.
the same question: value
You
or
just want to
bluff.
win the green.
Yeah, he just wants to win the green stack.
Good bluff catch.
I just have to go, something doesn't make sense here. And when it doesn't make sense, my default needs to be just like Mariano, stick the fucking chips in and just call. Let's play it odd lied. Had a huge weekend. It was so busy at the Venetian that we had a 1-2 mix PLO without the small blind jackpot, which ran really well, and it kind of fed into the 5-5 mix PLO with the $10 small blind jackpot. And there was probably something like 20 new faces. I've been telling some of the guys lately that, you know, the mixed PLO game should be at the Venetian because you get so many new players. I mean, we had two guys that were like crazy rich Asian. They'd buy in for $2,000. They were shoving. One guy shoved like 1,200 into me on a double board bomb pot where I had second nut straight, and then I had 3 aces with a king kicker when there was 2 aces on the board. And I was good. I think he had a set on the other board, and he was just trying to pressure me. It was one of those things where you see that kind of action at the Venetian, particularly because it's a higher end place, particularly because these are people coming right in off the strip, right off of shopping. I mean, both of these guys had like Prada coats or whatever, and one of them didn't even know how to play Big O. Like, that's the other advantage that having a game like that at the Venetian is you get people who say, well, I know PLO and I know double board and I want to play higher stakes. And then they look over at the 5-5 table and they see like $10,000 on the table and they're like, I want to see what that game's all about. I want to see what all those black chips and occasional yellow chip is all about. And literally, they came over and they both lost. One guy was in for probably like $8,000 or $10,000 within the first hour. The other guy was in for, I think he was in for like 5 or 6 within the first hour. Pushing equities. I don't know if they had bad hands. I mean, I honestly, for all I know, they could have just been getting rivered a lot, which is very possible. Where you look like the crazy wild Badiac, but you just keep getting unlucky. I mean, he was doing what you're supposed to do, which is just buy more chips. And no, if you're watching right now, I'm not going to tell you what tells I picked up on myself, but I know what I was thinking at the time of every hand that I was betting. So the nice thing is I can go back and reflect on it and say, if I think this is how my body reacts, or this is how I see my body reacting. Therefore, do X, Y, Z. Also, action at the Bad House has been crazy. I think I'm going to start a new segment called Guess the Equity. I think Guess the Equity will be a good learning tool in Big O as well as PLO situations, where I'll take a few hands and I'll say, guess what the equity is. I'll show you what it is. I'll give you like 20 seconds to calculate it out. And, you know, I'll tell you what the equity is afterwards. And then we go from there. I think that'll be a good way to be like a teaching tool for those of you who are, for example, a little unfamiliar with double board bomb pots or unfamiliar with Big O. That stream game was super juicy. One thing that I realized again, and I realized this last time I got into higher stakes, like 10, 25, 50 and 5, 10, 25 on a regular basis, is like 10, 10, 20, 40. Is it's pretty easy to win 10K. And I don't want to say like it's easy. Don't get me wrong. It's a grind, bro. Like, I ain't going to lie to you. But what I mean is to grind on like a 1-3-10 table and win 10K, and grind on a 10-25 table and win 10K is like two different things. Like, one is one session. One is like 6 or 7 sessions. You know, and that's the other thing. Like on a 5, 10, 25, you're going to buy in for 2K. If you bring like 3 bullets, okay, so you have 6K. But a lot of times I think you can just run it up to 10K and just be like, yeah, this is good. I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to get back at bigger stakes. 5, 10, 25. Here I come during the series a lot more frequently. I think that's what I'm just going to start with at the series. Just start off playing 5-10-25 Big O or 5-10-25 PLO. Maybe during the series we'll get a regular 10-10 during the Venetian. Probably do a 10-10 PLO mix. That'd be fun. Have a 1-2 PLO mix, then a 5-5 PLO mix, and then a 10-10 PLO mix. So we ended up playing some 25-25 PLO. We did really well. We got splashy. You can tell, if you haven't watched it, I'll put the link down below. But yeah, you can tell that the comments I got from a lot of people that watched it was the action was amazing, the game was amazing. I knew both of those things sitting there. But the other comment that I got is the commentators really laid into the players quite a bit. I thought the commentators did pretty good. I thought they were a little rough on Dr. Chris early on. And honestly, as much as I love Wayne, I don't think they were rough enough on Wayne. I mean, I think there was one hand Wayne folded kings, and they're like, oh, come on. They're like, kings just open fold pre-flop. And they're like, come on, with this much action, you got to start giving some action. And I had a pretty lengthy discussion with that about Wayne, but, you know, I know he plays a little bit tighter than most. That game definitely favors, when you're in a PLO game like that, that game really favors the high action players, the high variance players. And here's the other thing that I will tell you that I thought was absolutely amazing watching it. You know, V was a last minute fill-in, and even though he was a last minute fill-in, he specifically targeted Chris, 3-betting and 4-betting nonstop with any hands just playing position. And honestly, like, I gotta give props out to V. That was, after I watched the replay on the live stream, one of the most impressive displays of isolating an opponent in 2 hours that I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, V told me that he did not like playing on live stream, and he was literally a last minute fill-in. And I understand why he doesn't like playing on live stream, because he had completely different gears against completely different people. And I guess what I'll say is, after watching the live stream, I had respect for V before then, but I even have more found respect for V. And let's also not make any mistake about it. Even though Suited Superman was stuck 60,000 on stream, I mean, he was isolating as well, and he was playing very advanced. He was just running into the short end of variance. So I give a lot of credit out to him. And Jared, you know, he played really well. He was short stacked, and in those high stakes games, I mean, he went from having like 2,300 up to like 23,000 in a matter of like 4 hands. And that's just how those games go. You know, you can run it up real quick and then just go card dead. And he mixed it up a little bit, but I thought overall he played well. And now that I was looking at cutting them all up into shorts, I think there was like 8 significant hands that I played. Maybe there was 10, but 8 that I started cutting up into shorts. And yeah, it's I don't know. I said to Wayne, I said, well, I called $2,300 on a pure gut shot on deuce 5-7 jack. Of course, there was 2,500, 8K in the pot. If I bink it, I'm doubling up through Uncle Drew. Like, he's never folding ace king there. If a 4-ball comes up on the turn, like, he just sees it as a blank. And yeah, I don't know. But the stream overall went really well. And now I'm just back in the UP where, yeah, it's fucking snowing. See, those are snowbanks, people. And it's snowing. Oh, did I mention that, like, May is this week? And it's snowing up here? Full disclosure, the reason why I started Life of a Grinder is to do off topics that don't involve poker. And I don't know why this just came to me, but for some reason, when things like this come to me, I just talk about it. So in past episodes, you guys have seen me talk about addiction, about my brother's passing, things like that. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk about one of my tattoos, which is on my right wrist. You guys see it a lot in a lot of the videos. If you don't know what it is, it's a semicolon with a kitty cat symbol on it. And a semicolon is the symbol for suicide awareness. Now, I'm bringing this up because this is actually a very near and dear topic to me. And I'm actually going to tell you guys a story that I've probably told a half a dozen people. So, full disclosure, if you want to hear some interesting background story in my life, I'm going to give it to you. If you don't want to hear any of the whiny by me, whatever, suicide stuff, then go ahead and fast forward to this time right here. So, I was having a difficult time in my life, as we all do. And part of the reason why I'm doing this is a gentleman that I know recently decided to take his own life. It always makes me wonder why, or what can we have done that could have been different to have a more positive EV effect in that person's life. And honestly, I don't know if you can do anything. Many years ago, I was struggling with a lot of different things. And I'll never forget the day. It was, I believe it was January 17th, 2009. Might have been the 18th by the time this happened, because it was like an overnight experience. I ended up punching a brick wall, fracturing my right wrist, or doing what's called a boxer's fracture, and was required to need surgery. But after I punched a brick wall and had a boxer's fracture, by the way, full disclosure, don't punch a brick wall. That's really bad. That's about as bad as you can get, because you're not going to win against a brick wall. But moving forward, sometimes bad decisions make good stories. And maybe this story will impact somebody you know in your life, or somebody that you ran into recently. And hopefully it does. So I'm just trying to put out some good karma and positive EV out there in the world. But I punch a brick wall. I'm really upset with my wife. And I ended up sticking a Smith & Wesson in my mouth with one round in it on a revolver and pulling the trigger not once but twice. And it was only a 5-round revolver. So, suicide awareness is very important to me. I even remember that night calling my father-in-law, and I don't even think I've told my ex-wife this, but I remember calling him in the morning. It was probably 3 o'clock in the morning, having a really bad night, and I was trying to talk to him, and I was screaming at him. And I was angry and frustrated at the world. That was like my all-in Hail Mary moment before I decided to let the card gods decide whether or not I was going to be here to tell you this story. So, there you have it. Every day above ground is a good day. Whatever you think your worst thing is, other people have probably done worse and turned their lives around. You know? And sometimes bad stories or bad decisions make good stories. Sometimes bad decisions make important stories for others to learn. never forget having that metal brace, or they screwed a metal pin in my wrist or in my knuckle, and even to this day I still don't have any feeling in part of my right hand, which is weird because you can see your hand is there, but I can like poke it and not feel anything in certain parts of my hand. But I remember the day I was getting that metal rod removed, I go into the orthopedic surgeon's office, and you could see the metal sticking out of my knuckle, my second finger end. Like you could just see a tiny bit of it sticking out. And this was of course after surgery, weeks after surgery. This was part of the recovery phase when I'm getting it pulled out. And I remember walking in there, and he walks in and he looks at it, and I said, "Is it supposed to be sticking out?" And he goes, "Yep, that means it's ready to be removed." And I said, "What do? Just grab a pair of pliers and pull?" And he turns around and he's got a pair of needle nose pliers, and he goes, "Why, yes." Oh, you want to talk about a weird feeling, man. Like, I couldn't feel like the muscle, but they put like a metal rod inside my bone or something. Having that, whatever it is, 132 of an inch or whatever thick rod pulled out in between your bones, and feeling that, it was like, ugh, But so after all that happened, I think my daughter was 5 at the time, or 4.5. After all that happened, and she didn't get to see any of that. No one else got to see any of that. It was all by myself. Not true. My ex-wife got to hear the clicking on the other phone. We're just gonna leave it at that. But after all that, my kid gets older. My kid decides they want to get a suicide awareness tattoo that they designed themselves as a 16-year-old. And her, my current wife, or I should say her, my kid, my current wife, and myself all have the same matching tattoo. That's what it looks like right there. It's a kitty cat with a semicolon, because the semicolon is the symbol for suicide awareness, because it means that the story must continue. So if you guys have any other questions, I've got other tattoos that symbolize different things. I'm actually working on my sleeve, and my sleeve, after I decided what my tattoo was going to kind of look like, I have a whole theme on my sleeve, which I'm pretty excited and pumped. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I don't know if you want to see it midway. Like right now, it's just at the start. But let me know what you guys want. I'm in a weird mood. So, again, if somebody calls you, if you feel like something's off with somebody, just ask them if they're okay, man. Like, I've had bad days where I've lost $20,000 in a day. But the thing is, well, technically I got raided once and lost, $98,000 in one day. But that's for another vlog. But yeah, so I've had bad days like that, and just so you know, you can always, your day can always improve. And I'll never forget, after I got raided, I came home. She was my girlfriend at the time, but my wife was there, my kid was there, and they got the heads up that we got raided. So I come home at like 1:30 in the morning, and I walk in, and I'm like, "Oh, I got raided." And of course, they're kind of panicking. And I said, "Why are you guys freaking out?" And my wife looks at me and she goes, "How are you this calm?" And I said to her, "This is a really bad day." I said, "I've personally had worse." And I said, "We'll get it figured out, but being freaked out about it right now is not going to help anything." And so yeah, just so you know, like, that might be because I'm a professional poker player. that might be because that's how calm I was. I don't know. I was more calm at that point than I've been, like, even when I was recently involved in that 35K pod. I mean, I wasn't sweating it that much. I flopped the nuts, and it held. And so, you know, but like the ace, king, queen, 8 double suited hand, that was my biggest pot of my life, 26.9. Before that, it was 25K. And I lost that one. But, you know, you wait a little bit, and the card gods reward patience and perseverance. And next thing you know, you win a 35K pot, you know. So even if you think you're having a really bad day and you're down there, it can get worse. It definitely can get worse. But you know what? It can get better, too. So whoever needs to hear this, I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. Yeah, life of a grinder, man. So there's an interesting story that I've probably told about 6 people in my life. Play smart, everybody. And if somebody needs help, help them. I guess. Play smart, everybody. And I don't know. This is, yeah, I don't know. Play smart. And if you get the phone call at 2:30 in the morning, talk to the person, you know. Be like, why is this a red flag? You get the text at 2:30 in the morning and it's like a booty call. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you there. You're on your own there. But play smart, everybody, and run like a god.